The man in this first video embraces the stereotype and pushes other people to follow the idea that men have to prove themselves in a heroic act and release all creativity, all emotion, all their individuality, and pushes them to become a part of something based off a stereotype that men need to be strong and warriors. You will see who this man is and will know what this stereotype does for humanity and what good it does for the world. As you just saw, the man who embraced the stereotype was Adolf Hitler. Hitler wanted a country of soldiers, and nothing but soldiers, and did whatever he had to do to try and make people believe that the stereotype that men had to prove themselves in war was true. Hitler set up camps for young boys to train them to be full of hate and would encourage them to fight each other and grow up a warrior. He wanted to create a population of soldiers and strip them of their individuality and creativeness. From history, we know how this turned out, and mass amount of death and destruction. Hitler set up an idea in his country that the only way for a boy to grow up was to prove himself in combat, and it did the world nothing but negative and horrid things.
This next video represents a man who is the opposite of Hitler's ideology. He strived to become different from everybody, to be better than the person next to him, to be creative with everything he does, and to think about what nobody thought about before, to become the best person he can be, and to contribute to society and give us a better idea of the world we live in. This man comes from the same country as Hitler and the same time period, but instead of conforming to the stereotype Hitler was enforcing, he rose up against it and went his separate way, and became one of the greatest men to ever live. Einstein, one of the world's greatest minds, opposed the idea that a man had to prove himself to be thought of as a man. Instead, he embraced the idea that intelligence and creativity were much more valuable to society. He wanted to be his own person and change people's lives for the better. He contributed so many theories and discoveries to humanity that we would not be where we are if it wasn't for him. As you can probably tell, Einstein's way is much more rewarding than Hitler's way of doing things. So I challenge you to become more like Einstein. Test yourself every day to be better than you were the day before. Think outside the box. Become your own person. Go against the current and challenge the stereotype that society puts on you. This is the only way to reach your full potential and make the world a better place instead of trying to be the strongest and prove yourself, which does nothing for the world and only creates death.